Welcome to Punch Keys Podcast. I'm Poppy Minix, your co-host, bringing you blunt talk for the fiction novelist.
And I'm Cass Kay, your other writerly co-host. If you love to ramble about writing and need a tribe, you found us.
Are you ready? We're uncorking now. Let's talk about punching those keys.
What? It's season 2 of Punch Keys!
I can't even believe it. It's crazy talk.
I'm so pumped. Hello, welcome back. We took a 2-week hiatus break. I know 2 weeks isn't long, but you missed us so much. We had to come back. Right?
It's true. I missed us. That's for sure.
Season 1 was a blast. I can't believe we have a full season 1 under our belt.
I know, it's wonderful.
I know breaking seasons, like breaking a podcast into seasons, isn't like the norm. Some do it, most don't. Basically, we're doing this because Cass's brain can't handle going to our website and having a bazillion episodes that you
Puppies
have to
can't
scroll through.
either. I really like organization. I have a thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's a writer thing. Maybe it's part of our
Maybe.
problem where we're like, you need chapters, you need sections, we can't just have everything right there in a blob. So, welcome to season 2.
Yay!
Which has been kind of fun, though, because we have to step back and look at, okay, what is each season about?
Yes.
What are we trying to talk about here? And season 1 was hugely about finishing your first draft. And season 2 is hugely about, what do I do now?
It's true.
So, don't worry. We're not going to sit down with you right now and give you a list of things to edit for your first draft. We actually wanted to sit down and talk because there are, I think with anything in life, there are so many misconceptions about different groups. People who are from a different background, a different job, a different experience, there's misconceptions about them. And a lot of times those misconceptions can really lead to some things said or expected that are just not right. And it creates a lot of inner demons. And so I don't know, I'm feeling feisty. I want to punch some inner demons in the face.
True.
And I think Poppy just wants to hiccup.
I have hiccups. I'm really sorry. I totally do.
She's super quiet because she's over there holding her breath.
I am. Holding my breath right now. Oh my god. Sorry. Welcome to season 2. I have hiccups. What do you do?
Season 2, Poppy has the hiccups and Cass is ready to punch inner demons in the frickin' nose.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about writerly lies. And we sat down and we talked to ourselves, like, what are the lies that we hear from people around us that tell us we can't do this or we're not good enough for all these things? And we broke it up into 4 different types of lies. We've got your common butthole lies. We've got the grammar lies. It's the last 2, I think, that actually, like, stab you in the heart. It's the writer-to-writer lies, because we do that to ourselves a lot, and it's the publishing path lies. They hurt, and I might bring a baseball bat to those ones instead of my fist. We'll see. I'm in a feisty mood, guys. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get started. How's the hiccups going, Poppy?
Oh, they're still going.
Oh, good. That's just fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to start with common butthole lies. These are just like your most common things that you're a writer, well, then you're obviously like a depressed alcoholic hermit crab, right?
Yeah, right? Seriously.
I totally heard that hiccup. But yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so like obviously you're an alcoholic, obviously you're depressed, obviously you're hiding away somewhere in a black hole, not communicating with the world.
Not
and that's
thinking like normal people.
Yeah, that's what writers are. And I mean, I don't know, maybe there are some. I drink a lot. I'm not depressed.
I don't hide away.
I have way too many people talking at me. I want to hide away a lot, but it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Hopefully we're at the end of a pandemic, but it's just never ending. So you would think in that scenario I'd be able to hole away and hide away, but I have like a family and friends and I don't know. It's just not happening. There's no holding away for me.
Yeah, that's not a thing. That's a thing in movies, but not so much in real life.
I mean, you have to engage with the community around you and people in order to see different types of personalities, different types of job professions, different types of reacting to things. Like, you have to actually interact with human beings to be able to write human beings.
I agree.
Seasonal hiccups. Awesome. The next thing is that writer's block is this big cancer that is killing all of us writers. It's really interesting. I have several projects that I hop through, so sometimes I am not sure what to do with a project, so I'll hop to another. Gosh. I mean, writer's block shouldn't ever, like, fully stop you from writing.
I've never had that happen.
Okay. She's still hiccuping, guys.
It won't go away!
I have
Hashtag hiccup relief.
Yeah. Is it hot vodka, your hiccup relief?
No.
Oh.
Clearly not.
Okay, so writer's block for me, like, I have times when I am unsure of where to go in a project and I need to let it simmer for a while.
Yes.
So I switch projects.
Yeah.
There are some projects that go dead because they're just bad concepts. I guess you could call it writer's block. I just think it's like I'm progressing as a writer and I can see that that's not going to work out, or I can see that there's a problem that I don't know how to fix yet. So, like, I don't just stop writing.
Yeah. I need a pause because something isn't quite lining up that I'm not getting, and I need to, like, take a second.
Not from writing.
Right.
Yeah. So if you are an author who's experiencing writer's block, go engage with the world and create a whole new project. So that way you have people to write about and can hop to this new project of writing humans. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe humans aren't your gig. So continue being a hermit crab and write aliens. And completely hop genres. Maybe, like, historical romance was not your gig. Maybe you're, like,
sentient plant sci-fi.
Maybe you're sci-fi.
Yeah, you never know.
If you're stopped up and things aren't coming, play around. Jump genres, jump mediums, play around.
Yes.
Writing a book is super fast.
Oh my gosh, this is like the funniest thing to me. Oh, it's so fast. You just barf it out and it's great.
Okay, so there is guerrilla publishing where they want you to, like, pump out books in a really fast conveyor belt system that you just you build this conveyor belt into your house and you puke onto it and all of a sudden books start coming out.
Truth.
I think it actually takes some experience to be able to get to a point where you understand, and I think there's a lot of formulaic writing with that.
Yeah.
Which is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're not at that level, it takes practice and time. You've got to finish a couple things. You've got to edit a couple things. And you have to figure out what that formula is that you love. And I think in general for me, writing a book is not fast. I actually really enjoy the process. I love sinking into the story and the characters. And
yeah,
I don't mind.
Sure, you can go fast, but is that going to be shallow? Or do you need to go deeper?
And fast is like writing a book in like a month or two.
Yeah.
I fully expect to get a first draft done, hopefully within like 6 months.
But then you have to edit it, and that is completely different.
Yeah, editing. What?
It is okay for this to take time. It's okay for this to take years.
Especially when it's your first book or two.
Absolutely, because you have to figure out what the heck you were doing.
Yep. Our last, final common butthole lie is every character in your book is a person you know in your life.
I hate this one. This makes me nuts. When people ask me, oh, what character am I? You're not. You are not a character in my book.
I think my favorite is like, so, which character is your husband?
Right?
I'm like, he's not actually in my books. He would be the most boring character in my books because he's like...
There's like traits.
Well, he's like this really good husband that doesn't, like,
right?
He just wants our family happy and he wants me happy and like...
Right?
I don't really know where the story is.
Drama. So much drama.
I do have people in my life that have experiences and expertise that I'll pull from.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you are a librarian and my character is a librarian, my character is not that librarian, but I'm going to be like, hey, can I talk to you about being a librarian? So, sure, you can pull from someone's experience and skill set. It doesn't mean that that's that character in your book. They can just inspire it.
Yes.
You're not writing an actual person. There's a lot of pressure with that.
There is a lot of pressure with that.
Yeah. Then my friend is like thinking that I think he's a villain because he's the librarian, and
Exactly.
I don't even know. That's just so much pressure, guys.
There are traits that I will add in to our characters, but it's never like, this is this person. Did you notice? Did you notice that this person was this other person that I actually know that's a real life person? It's not like that.
Yeah,
It's just not like that.
Okay, so the next is the grammar lies. I really want to talk about these because I've always had a problem with grammar and prose.
And that
it always made me feel like I wasn't a writer because my grammar wasn't great. Because that's one of the biggest things, right? Like, all writers obviously are amazing at grammar. Guess what, guys? I wasn't when I started out. I'm better now, but I still have so much to learn.
We all have stuff to learn when we're writers.
I really suck at... I'm better now. Finally think I can identify comma splices without pro writing aid telling me it. But, that took a lot of time and effort for me. It just didn't come naturally. Like, characters, arcs, and pacing, and plot beats, make sense to me.
Sure.
The prose was really hard for me, and it's taken a lot of classes and a lot of studying. And it made me feel like I actually wasn't a good storyteller or writer for a long time. And so I just want to give a personal, double punch in the face to that demon.
That's a rough one because it's whenever you read somebody, especially when you start writing and you start reading people again, or you start reading books that you might have absolutely loved 10 years ago, and you start reading it as a writer, and you end up and you're like, oh, well, they really did this stuff amazing, and they really did this stuff completely wrong. And they might not have the best prose, they might not have the best grammar, but man, can they tell a story. And then you might find somebody with perfect grammar and perfect, everything here, except their story is just what? Everybody is different. Everybody has their weaknesses and positives, but just because you might not know where to place a comma doesn't make you not a writer. That's okay. That's not a thing that is stopping you from being a writer. That's just a hurdle that you'll eventually learn, and you keep going, and you have people as well who can help you with that. But it doesn't mean that doesn't validate you as someone who can tell a story.
And along those lines, a perfect first draft.
So
that's funny.
If
If you're a good writer, you're going to have all your commas in the right spot. All your grammar's great. Everything's perfect. If you're a good writer, your first draft is ready to be queried. That's a first draft. Guys, that's not a first draft.
No, your first draft is a dumpster fire. I'm sorry.
Your first draft is okay.
Unless you have 20 books under your belt, your first draft is a dumpster fire.
I understand what I'm trying to do now that I have this first draft. Yes. And I've heard it from several different authors. First draft is for the author.
Yes.
Second draft is for the editor. Third draft is for the reader.
Yes.
I personally have 10 drafts, but that's cool. First one, though, the first one is for me, and the first one's just me putting out what I want on there, and it's not in any way ready to query. And so you are not a failure if your first draft is not perfect.
No. I don't know of any first draft that would be perfect. That's just not a thing. That's not a thing. You don't just have a book. You don't just write a book and then publish it and it's amazing. There is so much work that goes into it that people
even for
don't
the
realize.
Big time authors, guys.
Yeah, I mean, big time authors, they have to go through all of these steps as well. They go through their editing team that makes it pretty and perfect and beautiful and places their commas for them. This is not something that is you can't just make something perfect. So don't have that stop you. Don't have this perfectionist, well, it's not perfect, therefore it will never be attitude. Just write it out. Tell your story. Keep going.
The next one in Grammar Lies is, gosh, I don't know about you, but I've gotten this one. So I'm going to take my time with this for a second because I'm not complaining about people who say this, and I'm not, I totally get it. Every time I take a course or a class and I'm I want to go back, I've learned something, I want to go back and upgrade my draft now. I understand how to make it better. I inevitably will have people around me who are oh no, learning that takes away your author voice.
Oh, I hate that. I've had that so many times and it frustrates the ever-living crap out of me because I'm on the other side now. And
so is my author voice bad grammar? Is that
right?
what is that what you're telling me? Like
Telling me that you don't want my story to change because it is perfect in its first
but
draft
it's not.
state.
Like
It's not.
I can see it's not. I can see how it can be better, and understanding how it can be better and leveling up doesn't mean I'm losing my author voice. I think it means I'm finding it.
Yes, and you're being able to get rid of the fluff and the things that doesn't work for your verbiage to be
Or
able to
maybe
make
stop
it
your
sharp.
bazillion comma splices. I don't know, whoever you are. Whatever you're leveling up on, you're finding your author voice, you're not losing it.
We always get better, and that doesn't mean that your personality gets shoved aside. That doesn't mean that what you're writing and your rhythm goes away. It means that it makes it stronger and sharper and more noticed because now you know what the hell you're doing. It's really, really important. I have heard it personally at least twice where somebody's been like, just be careful because those editors will just destroy your voice. No, I found my voice when I had editing. I found it. Like I was like, oh, there it is amongst the dumpster fire. Okay, there it is. I found it. Holy crap. And like, I didn't realize that. And it took me several years to figure that out where I'm like, are they right? If I have somebody edit this, does that mean that my voice is going to go away? It does not.
Guys, absolutely
Gosh, it does not. It means that it's going to make it stronger and better because now you know what the heck you're doing. And if you break a rule, you do it because you know that rule. And you are able to like manipulate it to where it means something in your writing. It doesn't mean that you're just throwing words on a page anymore. And while your story might be awesome, it doesn't mean that it can't improve. Your story can always improve.
Always. Even when it's published and done and out the door.
Gosh, yes.
It still could have improved. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so the last topic in Grammarlize is really interesting for me because when we first started talking about this, it was about research. And I'm like, you have to research everything. You can't just make it up. And then I got this, I don't know, I get random invites to panels and Zooms and stuff. I don't know, guys. I got this random invite to this panel, to this author, Sarah Gailey. And it was like with all these librarians, and I was like not a librarian and like sneaking in the back door. I don't know what happened, but it was this fantastic panel. It was amazing. And I ordered her book. I'm like so excited to get it. I haven't gotten it yet because she talked about how the clone wife, the mirror wife, I forget what it is, guys.
Yeah.
But it's like a sci-fi type scenario, I'm thinking. I'm excited to read it. She talked about how when she was writing this, she actually purposely did all of the science wrong.
That is fascinating to me.
So, which is like a red flag, right? Normally, like, you can't do that. You have to make your science sound and logical for sci-fi. Like, sci-fi readers are like, it has to be all, but and it wasn't just like a casual, oh, I don't care if this is wrong. She went in more in depth and talked about it, and she was like, I made sure that all of the science was wrong, so it was obvious that this was an alternate universe and world, which
Neat.
I think also takes research.
I would agree with you. You have to at least know what the rules are so that you can break them.
Yeah. So she took the approach of I'm not going to try and make logical sense. Sense or sex. Maybe there's sex in the book. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. But I am going to break your brain on what you think science is, and I'm going to consistently do that. She's got to be consistent in the book, I'm hoping. And so I think research I'm still going to stand by this. Research is huge. It's super important.
Absolutely.
So you have to either break the rules of the world as we know it and consistently break all the rules, or you have to adhere to them.
Yeah.
Or even if you're in between. I am like a huge urban fantasy reader, so I love it when an author comes in and is like, okay, I'm going to talk to you about werewolves. I know you've read about tons of werewolves.
Yep.
All these things are right. All of these things are not right for this world.
Yeah.
They're clarifying the rules. It's because they've researched the genre. They know what I'm expecting as a reader coming into it. When I'm like, oh, I'm picking up a werewolf book. That's just like the, 50th werewolf book I've read, which is probably pretty accurate. Sorry, guys. And so...
Love me some werewolves.
I do. I mean, werewolves, vampires, Pythias.
I get it. I love
don't
some
care.
paranormal. It's great. But
I'm down.
yeah.
I'm down. Dragon shifters, I'm down. So I think it's understanding your genre too.
Yeah.
you know, and I've always been like a big fan of researching, and I just thought her concept of, yeah, I knew what the science was. I purposely made sure I didn't adhere to it. And
Right?
I thought that actually took research and was actually a really cool route for that as well.
That's really, really a fascinating concept because it is one of those things where it doesn't matter what your world is, if it's fantasy, if it's sci-fi, if it's horror, whatever is happening, as long as you have something that is the truth, and as long as you have something that makes sense within the world, even if you completely and utterly made it up, what's the research behind it? And how did you break it? How did you break out of that box? How did you, you sort of need to know it in a way in order to be like, this is completely different, and here's the world that I'm dropping you into, but I'm going to immerse you into it, so it's all good. Don't worry, I'm going to hold your hand. It's going to be fine. You've got this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to be the truth. But it also doesn't mean that you can completely just jump in and just make up whatever the hell you want to.
Well, I think you can properly hold the hand for this new world if you understand what their expectations are.
Yeah. If you understand what the truth is, it doesn't make the research any less valid if you completely make it up.
Can tie back to tropes, which we've talked about. Tropes for particular genres. Expectations for different genres and readers.
Yes.
Understanding, it's not that you can't ever break them or you can't go outside them, but understand them so you can hold your reader's hand because you want them with you.
Yes. You want them immersed into this brand new world that you've completely created. I mean, you think about some of these stories like Avatar. Where in the world did that author get everything that was from Avatar? It was completely made up. It was completely fantasy. But they did research because they dropped you into this world and you got it. You still understood it. It was consistent and it was its own world. And they've created this and they took a lot of research and a lot of thought behind it to just make it not willy-nilly just throwing shit out there. They actually made it into where they could drop you into it and you got it because there were humanistic factors to it. There were still parts of it that they understood completely and adhered to, but oh man, was it a completely different world. But that doesn't mean that you can just all be like, I'm just gonna make it all up, it's gonna be fine, because not everybody's gonna understand that. You need to still have some truth and some research behind it.
Absolutely. So, basically, in the end of the day, I win, and it's not an inner demon, it's an inner angel who's telling you to research. You're welcome.
Cass has got some very serious research thing going on. If you haven't listened to the first series, you'll get it. Go listen and you will totally understand what's up.
I like my research, okay?
Don't rain on her research parade because you will be in trouble.
All right, so the next group of lies. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Oh!
Writer lies.
These
ones
hurt.
Are rough, guys.
They hurt because you're like, you've made all these new writer friends, and then all of a sudden somebody tells you something, and you're like, is that true? You're a writer, so it must be true because I'm new to this writing thing, and you understand the writing world, and it hurts.
Okay, writer to writer lies. The first one I talk about is only literary writing is good writing. All the other genres are crap. I mean, romance is crap. Urban fantasy is just stabby crap. I mean, literary writing is the only good quality prose. The rest is just crap.
That is a subjective opinion.
Guys, there's good prose and good writing in every single genre.
Everyone.
Yep.
Horror, literary, memoir, romance.
Even romance. Oh my God. Guys, there's good prose and romance. I'm not
so
kidding.
much good prose and romance.
It's there.
Whew, is it ever?
There's good writing in all different genres. And I think there's bad writing in all genres, including literary. So
absolutely.
I think you just have to care about the story you're telling.
You do. And you're going to have readership for what you're writing. It's not something that is like, everyone's going to love your work ever. No, somebody is not going to love your work. It doesn't matter what you write. You can write the literal best book in the world. Somebody's going to be like, this was dumb. I freaking hated it. It's just, but then somebody else is going to be like, this book changed my life. And it does not matter what genre you're in. It can be a spoof horror, and you know what? You saved someone because they just loved it and they adhered to it and it made something make sense to them and they got it. And it's like, that doesn't unvalidate you as a writer. It just...
Is anyone else like picturing all the spoof horrors they've ever watched and
I love
trying to
them.
figure out how it changed your life, made it better?
It made me happy in the
it's like-
times that were not happy. So
I'm like loving this train of thoughts.
I'm really glad. But you know, there is going to be
there's
somebody
so many
going to
things
just...
I can learn.
Somebody is going to just completely just swoon over whatever the heck you write. And then somebody else is going to utterly despise it. Write what you want to, write it well, write it good. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not writing or that it's not valid because of, for whatever reason, which is dumb. You've got this.
Write something you care about. It's like my biggest advice there. This next one's going to hurt. Self-publishing is for rejects.
I hate that one too. And I'm not a self-publisher. And I still hate that one a whole bunch.
I recently had just watched some masterclass lessons. And there I had like this bonus J.K. Jemisin. And there was like a bonus episode like at the end of her series. Because it's all about world building, right? Fantasy world building. Obviously, we know why I'm watching this. But at the end, there's like this one episode that's specifically about self-publishing versus traditional publishing. And it broke it down in ways that I hadn't ever thought of. And she talked about how one wasn't better than the other. And I've been watching a lot of different seminars and panels and authors and the industry and how it's changing and stuff. You can actually, depending on your genre and what you're doing, you can make more money self-publishing sometimes than traditional publishing.
Yep.
And so it's more about a personality type. There's a different skill set needed for self-publishing versus traditional publishing.
I completely agree with that.
And understanding those different skill sets and personality types that will excel in those two different ways is what it's about right now. It's not all self-published books out there are crap. Guys, there's so many good.
Gosh, there's some absolutely incredible self-published work.
And
incredible.
They're choosing to be indie authors. They're not only doing it because they were rejected by traditional publishers. So now this is their only option.
No.
A lot of them didn't even want to go the traditional publishing route.
Absolutely.
A lot of them are going through the same steps a traditional book goes through. They wanted the control over it. They wanted to control over how fast it comes out, and they didn't want any of their fingers in it. There's so many other factors in this. So self-publish is not for rejects. I'm just going to kick that demon in the balls right there.
Yeah, because that is just, it's not true. I mean, it's just completely not true. You have an independence in self-publishers that you do not have within traditional publishing. There are people who are go-getters and people who can figure out and study and realize what in the world they're doing on their own. And they have the chutzpah to do it. They're like, you know what? I'm going to publish this on my own. And I think that that is absolutely incredible. Can anybody publish a book? No. But I mean,
no,
you
definitely
know,
not.
No.
It takes a certain skill set. You have to.
It does.
I know. I'm going to say the word I always say. You have to research what you're getting into.
You do have to research what you're getting into. But, you know, it also gives you an amount of control that you wouldn't typically have under a hybrid or traditional publisher. But writing is writing. And if people love it, then that's absolutely fantastic. And you've done a great job. You've done your job. That doesn't make it less of a piece of writing. That's just silly.
And I think the whole industry is changing where I feel like indie publishing, self-publishing is getting a bigger chunk of sales and more center stage.
I would agree with you on that. And it depends on your goals, too. I mean, if your goal is to be in all libraries and all bookstores, then yeah, you're probably going to you're going to want to go traditional. But if yours is to be able to publish on a monthly schedule or to be able to publish when you want to,
or publish the story that you want, and you actually have a business mind to do it. You have to have a little bit of a business mind, I think, to jump into the self-publishing route.
I agree.
And so if you're able to look at your stories and your books as a business, and you understand the business end of that, you'll probably do really well in self-publishing.
Yeah. If you make like a business plan and you're actually considering looking ahead and what you can do in the next 5 years and what you're going to do to market it and make it correct, then you're going to be great as a self-published author.
All right. So the next one is a personal pet peeve of mine. I hate it so much. Write what you know.
Oh, we have talked about this in season 1, how it annoyed the crap out of us. Write what you know. How can you do that? How can you write a vast array of characters and only
I don't want to write a bunch of Karens. Okay, I'm not a Karen, but I am a white, straight female. I want to learn. I want diversity in my stories. I want diversity in my writing because there's diversity in my life. But I don't want to approach that casually either. So I definitely... this is going to be like the drinking game. Take a shot every time Cass says research. You're going to be so drunk by the end of this episode.
She loves some research. It's like a thing.
You need to research. It's not that you can't write what you don't know, but you have to like actually research. Guys, Googling something for 30 minutes is not research. I said
you need
30
to go
minutes.
Multiple.
You're Googling for like 5, aren't you? No, you failed.
It depends on what it is, but if it's something of importance, like a full character and how they are not like you, you're going to need to be doing a whole lot more research than just peeking in at something.
No, if it's like a life experience, like even a job.
That makes that person who they are, absolutely. You're going to need to be doing a little bit more. You're going to be talking to people, looking at people, seeing what they do, getting inspiration from those around you.
Details are going to make your story.
Gosh, they really are. Yeah,
I've learned so much about so many different types of jobs and cultures and beliefs because I write characters that are not me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because, like, I only know a very small portion of what I write about, but... Man, sure, there's a piece of it. Because you have humanity. There's always certain traits that you understand if you're a person of what you need to do to be a person, or you understand about politics, you understand about whatever else that makes a person a person. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be your exact clone because that's all you know. Like, go and research it. Go do it right. Go talk to people who do that and continue. Because writing what you know, how much do you know compared to the entire world? Not a whole lot. You can't. You can't know all of that.
It's such a limited view.
It is.
There's only so many stories you can tell from that view.
Exactly. If you want to write one book, sure. Write what you know. But then if you want to go to book 2, you're going to need to expand outside of your tiny little personal circle.
And even if you want to go against the grain, like we were talking about, like Sarah Gailey was doing with her sci-fi series or her sci-fi book, that's okay too, but it requires understanding what you're going against the grain from.
Yeah.
So it requires research. It requires understanding what the norm is. Gosh, guys, take a shot and research.
Take a shot and research.
All right, we're going to move on to the publishing lies.
Publishing lies hurt too.
They do. Gosh, this is a hurtful first episode.
It is.
Guys, we're kicking these demons in the butt. They don't belong here.
They don't.
Okay, the first publishing lie is your manuscript has been rejected, so it's not good.
Oh, man, that's a really crappy one. That hurts.
It does hurt because obviously if they're saying no, something's wrong with it, right? I know we talked about it in the query episode. There's so many factors in why someone says no. I don't think that rejections mean that your story can't be and will never be. I just don't believe that. I completely agree with you. In order to have hope in my life.
There's some really incredible stories that didn't get published until way, way later because of, for whatever reason, they're absolutely incredible. Or they ended up in the slush pile, or it was like an accidental... I guess this person one day found it kind of thing. And there's just some really incredible stories. It's like auditioning for a play. Agents and publishers are looking for a very specific thing. And just because what you have doesn't fulfill what they're looking for, doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that not at this exact moment is what they're looking for. But that doesn't mean that there's no hope for it.
I agree. And there's so many different paths you can look to do with it. And sometimes it maybe at that time will be later for that project and you start a new project. Always keep writing. Always start new projects. Keep going. But just because it was rejected, it could mean so much more about what's going on in the industry right now, more than about your actual story.
Absolutely.
If there's actual feedback in the rejection, apply it.
Yes.
Try that out. But the story, I don't know, give it time. Give it breathing space. there's so many aspects to a story and a rejection. Your story doesn't suck just because it was rejected.
Yeah. The publishing industry is like the slowest, fastest thing ever. It's like, it doesn't make any sense because they want what they want when they want it, except that doesn't necessarily mean that your book is what they want right off the bat, but it might be in a year or 2 years, or if you self-publish it, it might explode. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's not what they're looking for at this exact moment in time for a variety of reasons.
We interviewed Scott Rankin in season 1.
Yes.
And he talked about how he had a book that he queried an agent to and it was rejected.
Yes.
And then another book later on that agent picked up and the agent was like, what else do you have? He gave that agent the book that was rejected, and they were like, okay, your beginning needs to be completely retooled, but I love this.
Right?
So you just never know when things are going to be their time. You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one, along with rejections, is that I have so many friends who tell me this, and it makes me cringe. It's like, oh, you're rejected. It doesn't mean you're a loser. It means you're the next Stephen King. Have you read all the stories that he talks about with his rejections? And how he used to put each rejection on this nail on the wall and counted them.
Think about that nail on the wall.
Deal with those agents or publishers at all. And guys, I'm not the next Stephen King. I promise you, I am so not the next Stephen King. Like, is there an in-between? Why does rejection either mean I suck or I'm amazing? I don't feel like
there with people.
Is there an in-between somewhere where it's
you stop putting people in boxes? It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. There is a path for every single writer, everyone, and every one of them is incredibly different. It can go from, I started out as traditional and I went to self. I started out as self and then I went to traditional and I went to audiobook and I went to a video and I made a movie. Like, who the heck knows what your path is going to be? But it doesn't necessarily mean that because you've been rejected, all of a sudden all your stuff is going to blow up like never before. It might. And wouldn't that be fabulous? But that doesn't mean, anything.
No.
And sometimes you might not get rejected, or sometimes you might get your first query might be picked up and then you might have a hard time with the rest of your books. Who the heck knows? Every path is different.
So basically what rejection means is that you're on the writing path. Congratulations.
I know, right? You queried, and that is something that should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You're
That's
on
awesome.
the path. I don't know. Maybe you are the next Stephen King. You're going to figure it out. Don't stop.
Yes. As long as you finish your work, you are a writer who has written a novel. You are a novelist if you finish your novel. Ta-da!
Regardless
There's nothing
of
that's
what
going to
genre
tell
it
anybody. Yeah. And people are going to tell you silly things, and you're just going to be like, ooh, is that right? And it's going to hit you, and your inner demon's going to be like, that's right. And you're going to be like, shut up, inner demon. Shut your face.
I had a family member who told me that my manuscript was a book and not a novel.
Oh my God, that's the worst.
Because it was fantasy. She was writing a memoir. Hers was a novel.
That was a novel.
Mine was a book.
Oh my God.
Like, there's so many.
I can't even right now.
Why are we like, I don't even know.
Yeah, and I think that's that competition thing too. I don't know. Is that even in our... No, it's not. There's a competition one too, that if you hear from people where they will bring it up where it's like, if you get published, that means that I can't get published, or we can't be nice to each other because we're competitors. Oh, that is complete and utter bullcrap. I mean, like, honestly.
I mean, as a reader, do you just read one book?
No, you blow through some freaking books. Like, you just read and read and read and read.
Genre. If you find a book you love, you want another book in that genre you're going to love. Like,
that is a massive writer lie. Like, that is a massive, massive lie. Is like, there's competition between writers.
Is like succeeding, it in no way stops you from succeeding, I promise.
I think it makes you far, far stronger when your writer friend is succeeding, because now you have the abilities to all grow together. And it's really, really incredible when you have these amazing writer friends, because they go through this potential different publishing path that you don't know about. And all of a sudden they're able to teach you some of these things because you're friends and you're able to like learn off of each other, and you might learn something and you can share it and help them. And all of a sudden you have this amazing support system that is more like a ladder than it is anything else. And you're all just
oh my goodness,
riding on up.
We're all in it together.
Imagine that. It is such a team
like
sport.
Your tribe
and we don't realize
is not
it.
your competition, but your teammates. Oh, maybe.
This is as much as we like to say that like writers are solitary and they're quiet and they're hermits, they're not talking to anybody. When you have writer friends and when you have like a writer community with you, it boosts you up faster than anything else possibly can. Like, stop that whole competition crap, because it is not a thing. It is, there's no competition here. Somebody who reads your friend's book that is similar to yours is going to be like, I love that book. Give me yours. It's not going to be like, I read this book and I'm never going to read another one. That's just plain silly.
As has been shown by Cass's 20 werewolf novels.
Right?
So
I will eat some books. When I get on a streak, I will like streak it up. I will read everything I possibly can voraciously, anything that is connected to the one book I read that I enjoyed. And I think that's how it is for a lot of readers.
All readers are. If you love something,
I agree.
I mean, that's the vampire craze, right? Like,
vampire.
I love this. Give me everything vampires.
I mean, whatever. The princess fantasy, you know, if somebody jumps onto that, they're going to read every princess fantasy that they can possibly get their hands on.
Tropes, knowing, I don't think readers identify what their tropes are and what they love.
They just like what they like.
But it's important as authors to understand the tropes that they like, because they're going to go for that trope and grab it up like a kid in a candy store every time.
I completely agree.
And if you understand it, if
you play to that trope, oh yeah.
I mean, if the kid freaking loves, I don't know, strawberry shortcake candy, every variation of strawberry shortcake candy, they're going to gobble up. It's not like they only like this one particular. They like all different types of strawberry shortcake candy. They want all of it. Kid in the candy store, guys. All the way.
Every bit. Absolutely.
I really love this next one. I'm super excited to talk about it. Prose is all the author?
Oh,
what's an editor? I don't know.
So
Editors
sweet.
only fix commas. This brilliant prose, this brilliant everything was entirely the author. That no one else needs credit.
Dear writer, you are talented. You have a story. Yeah, you also need some help, and that's okay.
And the help makes it to that next level where the reader is like, this person is brilliant. And I think this goes back to like the first drafts are perfect. You can't make perfection on your own. I don't care whatever book you're pulling off the shelf that is your level of perfection and perfect prose. They didn't get it to that level on their own.
There was so many hands in that book. So many hands in that book. Cookie jar. Woo.
So
and
many
it's a good
hands
thing.
in the
it's
first line
jar.
and the last line, which is everything, right? First line and last lines to find a book. So many hands in what the theme is, what the arcs are. You're not just doing this in a bubble on your own and this perfect God who creates beautiful, perfect stories. Nope. Not happening. That is not how it works, guys.
I will be perfectly honest and tell you that my book that is coming out in November, I love it. I had a wonderful time playing with the voice. I had a wonderful time playing with the story. Holiday Hotel. It's an absolute blast. My editor gave me my first line, and I can tell you I am kicking myself in the ass going, why did I not think of that? Because I am not my editor. But it is a damn good first line. And so, like, if you guys appreciate that first line, you are welcome, because I had an editor, because they are the ones who was like, did you think about this? And I'm like, I did not. I did not think of that. And it's like, there's so much that goes into this book making business that makes it something that is fantastic. And that first line will grab the crap out of you because it's amazing. And I did not give it to you. My editor did, you know, and it doesn't mean that that makes me less of a writer. It just means that it's like they looked outside of what I was doing and said, I've read this whole thing. I know your voice. I know what you're doing. I've studied this because I've read it over and over again. We've gone through this editing thing together. Did you think about this? And I was like, I did not. And it is so good. And I can't be upset about it because it's absolutely fantastic and it's perfect for the book.
Publishers hire editors.
They do. It means that they're not completely on their own. They're doing stuff and they're the ones controlling their business, not necessarily their entire book, but their business. They're still consulting. They're still getting great feedback. They're still going through all these motions that are making it better and better. They're just doing it on their own. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
So you're not in a vacuum seal bubble on your own.
Yeah.
And I hope at some point tonight we've talked about some type of demon that you've thoroughly punched in the nose.
Yes. Or that you might come across
that blood gushing everywhere and it's all over the demon's face and it's just running down your knuckles and
horror writer alert.
You feel so satisfied. I feel satisfied with you.
I'm really glad. I hope that if somebody comes up to you and tells you that this is the reason you can't be a writer, you're like, oh, wait, I can totally be a writer. Hell with you. I've heard this crap before.
Maybe not even hell with you, but just like oh, that's cute.
That is the thing.
You know what
Some people just don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times people who are telling you these lies, they're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to take you down. They don't even understand the damage they're doing.
I completely agree with that.
And so we're here to tell you we're kicking the inner demon that forms inside of your head from the words. I don't want you to go punch actual people, guys.
No, don't punch people, please.
These people actually aren't trying to hurt you. They just don't understand what they're saying. They don't understand the demons they're creating inside of your head. I do understand those demons, and we're going to battle them together. It's okay.
Exactly. They haven't been brave like you and gone out and actually created a book, which is a really big, giant feat, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself for being able to complete a novel. That's huge. I'm proud of you too, because I think that that's really, really big work. And people are going to tell you certain things so that they, cushion you for when you fall. What if you don't? Just keep going and do what you need to do to get your stuff done. It's fantastic. And it's such a joyous journey. And it's just a blast. And it's so much fun to get your stuff out there for people. So just go do your thing. Ignore those people who are just pushing that negativity towards you. Get it going. You're going to be great.
Season 2 is about being here for you on that journey, understanding that it's hard, and we're going to go in the trenches with you. We are going to edit and kick things out, and all of these lies of why you can't do it, we don't believe.
Yeah.
We're here to say we're so doing it, and we're blooding the demons. That's what's happening. Okay, but... So, welcome to Season 2 on that note. We're super excited you're here. If you haven't checked out Season 1, please do. We also have a contest running right now. So, please make sure you check out our hashtag Poppy Time. It's almost like we love Poppy. What?
That's so sweet, y'all.
We do love Poppy.
Goodness.
Poppy has a book coming out, Holiday Hotel, and we have a special contest running where you actually get the opportunity to come join us on Punch Keys. You get to be a guest interviewer. Don't worry, I'll be here too. All 3 of us are going to hang out. I'm going to totally tease and poke at Poppy while you interview her.
'Cause why not?
Yeah. Just give us your best interview questions, hashtag them PoppyTime on Twitter. You are entered in the contest. It's that easy. Check it out. Please check out our social medias. Please give us some, review love. I would really appreciate that.
That would be wonderful. We'd appreciate it.
And if you're here, thank you. I'm super glad you're here for Season 2.
Welcome back for Season 2, and thank you for listening.
And keep punching the keys, damn it.
Yes.
Punch them.
Do it.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you liked this episode, please subscribe and give us that clickable 5-star love.
Got writer questions or feedback? Reach out through our website. And until next time, make sure to punch the keys.